Did you know that just last year we were on the brink of a nuclear catastrophe? Yep, you heard that right. Reports revealed that tensions between superpowers were at their highest since the Cold War, and one wrong move could have led us straight into World War III. Stick around, because things got pretty intense in 2024. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the shocking events of 2024, a year that had the world holding its breath as nuclear tensions reached unprecedented heights. With global politics becoming increasingly volatile, fears of nuclear warfare were palpable. Countries were flexing their military muscles, and every news headline seemed to scream of imminent danger. Leaders were making bold, sometimes reckless statements, and the public was left wondering if we were really on the edge of disaster. So how did we get here? Let's unpack the chain of events that almost pushed us over the brink. As tensions rose, a series of key events kicked off a nail-biting countdown. It all began with military movements that had analysts scratching their heads. Nations were deploying troops and equipment closer to borders, and the air was thick with uncertainty. Political speeches were laced with aggressive rhetoric, and you could practically feel the tension crackling in the air. Public reactions were also a huge part of this drama. Protests erupted worldwide, with citizens demanding peace over war, while others took to social media, fear-mongering and spreading alarming conspiracy theories. It was like watching a high-stakes game of chess, except the pieces were nuclear warheads, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Then came the pivotal moments, unexpected missile tests and military drills that sent shockwaves through global markets. Nations were scrambling to respond, and the UN was buzzing with emergency meetings. It seemed like every day brought new developments. New alliances were formed and old rivalries reignited, leaving everyone wondering, is this the beginning of the end? Then came the climax of this high-octane thriller. In a dramatic turn of events, a miscommunication during a military exercise almost led to an actual strike. Can you imagine? Leaders were on the phone, frantic discussions were happening behind closed doors, and tensions hit a boiling point. The world watched in horror as one nation prepared to retaliate, believing they were under attack. In those crucial moments, decisions were made that could have changed the course of history. Thankfully, cooler heads prevailed. Back-channel negotiations sprang into action, but the clock was ticking. Would they reach an agreement in time, or were we all just moments away from a nuclear nightmare? The atmosphere was electric as news outlets raced to cover every development. It was a real-life thriller, and we were all glued to our screens, praying for the best but preparing for the worst. Fortunately, the story didn't end in catastrophe. Through intense negotiations and the intervention of diplomatic allies, the crisis was averted. Leaders on both sides realized the dire consequences of a nuclear conflict and agreed to back off. It was a moment of collective relief as the threat of war subsided. But it wasn't just the leaders making peace, citizens played a role too. Public pressure and protests for peace amplified the voices of diplomats, pushing them to reach an agreement. The world took a collective sigh of relief, but the events had left a mark. Media outlets began shifting their focus to the aftermath, asking tough questions about how close we had come to disaster and what lessons needed to be learned. The importance of communication and diplomacy was at the forefront of discussions. Reflecting on these events, it's clear that 2024 was a wake-up call for international relations. The near conflict taught us just how fragile peace can be in our modern world. Countries must prioritize dialogue and transparency, especially when tensions are high. These events sparked a renewed interest in arms control agreements and nuclear disarmament talks. Leaders began to realize that the stakes are simply too high to ignore. The lessons learned from this near miss could pave the way for more collaborative approaches to global security. As we look to the future, one thing is certain: we can't afford to let history repeat itself. The world must remain vigilant and engaged in discussions to prevent the kind of escalation that almost occurred in 2024. So what do you think? Were we really on the brink of World War III, or was it just a media frenzy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content on global issues. Together, let's stay informed and proactive about our world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.